It began with a simple, chilling fact. A dangerous prisoner was gone. He had escaped from a secure facility, and in his place, a wave of unease began to spread across the land. One of the largest manhunts the state had ever seen was launched, a massive operation to find one man in a world of countless hiding places. Helicopters sliced through the quiet morning sky, their rhythmic thumping a constant reminder. Roadblocks materialized on highways, and on country lanes, officers peered into every car, searching for a single face among the many. People gathered around televisions, radios, and phones, watching the news with a growing sense of apprehension. They felt a collective fear, a shared vulnerability that comes when the walls that are meant to protect society are breached. The prisoner was not just a number or a file. He had a name that was linked to a history of serious crimes. The courts had reviewed his past and determined he belonged behind the walls of a prison. Among the staff, he was known as difficult and dangerous. He had a history of altercations with guards, and this was not his first attempt to escape. He had tried before, learning from each failure. The prison was a medium-sized correctional facility, a cluster of brick and concrete buildings set back from a long, open road. It was designed to be secure, a chain-link fence, razor wire, and surveillance cameras. Guards patrolled the perimeter around the clock. But one night that routine was quietly broken. The escape was discovered as dawn painted the eastern sky. A guard on rounds did a head count and found a bed empty, sheets folded like a sleeping form. A frantic review of cameras revealed a fleeting shadow across a little-used yard. The prisoner had fashioned a crude ladder from bed sheets and used it to scale an interior wall. He exploited a small, known blind spot in camera coverage. He moved with swift, practiced silence and slipped into the dark woods beyond the fence. The alarm was raised immediately. Lockdown and sirens followed. He had a crucial head start, likely hours. In the hours following the discovery, law enforcement mobilized with remarkable speed and force. A central command center was quickly established at a nearby town hall, becoming the nerve center for the entire operation. Local sheriff's deputies, units of state police, federal teams with specialized tracking resources arrived. K-9 units were deployed into the woods, their handlers following them through the dense undergrowth. High above, helicopters began a systematic scan, their cameras zooming in on fields, forests, and riverbanks. Drones were sent to search areas inaccessible to the larger aircraft, their quiet buzzing adding another layer to the sounds of the manhunt. On the ground, the net was being pulled tight. Roadblocks were erected on major highways and on quiet country roads alike, causing long lines of traffic as officers checked vehicles and identification. An emergency alert was broadcast to every mobile phone in a 50-mile radius, describing the fugitive and urging caution. The search teams worked relentlessly, pushing through exhaustion as the days turned into nights and back into days again. They operated in shifts, ensuring the hunt never stopped. Local volunteers arrived to offer assistance, helping to search open fields and public lands. The search dogs worked until they were physically spent, then started again. Crews covered a far greater expanse than anticipated. Few pieces of potential evidence trickled in, frustratingly inconclusive. A grainy image from a distant traffic camera showed a solitary figure walking along a road in a neighboring town, but the resolution was too poor for a positive identification. The time and location were plausible, but it was impossible to be certain. A truck driver recalled seeing a man on the shoulder. A gas station clerk reported a nervous man asking for a ride. Store CCTV showed a hooded figure buying a bottle of water, a map, then leaving on foot. Investigators timed the purchase down to the second. Near a slow-moving river, they found footprints preserved in damp mud, muddy boot print, toes dragging, suggesting a heavy pack or weary steps. A torn jacket snagged on barbed wire was found. Close up, a faded name tag and split seam. The jacket was bagged and sent to the state crime lab. Investigators waited days for results. Detectives re-interviewed witnesses, trying to weave scattered threads. Some stories matched key details. Others contradicted each other. One insisted he limped. Another said his stride was steady and confident. Each new piece of information was like a whisper in the static, potentially vital but difficult to isolate. The trail grew colder with every passing hour. As the search entered its second week, one question dominated every conversation. How could one man vanish so completely while so many were looking for him? The sheer scale of the manhunt made his disappearance baffling, and theories began to multiply. Investigators, journalists, armchair detectives all trying to piece together his movements. One prominent theory: he had help. Perhaps an accomplice waited in a car on a dark, unpaved road just beyond the perimeter, yet thorough camera reviews showed no waiting vehicle. Another view: he operated alone, relying on wits and survival skills. Dense woods, small farms, 2 major highways, enough cover to hide indefinitely. Shelter in hollow trees, abandoned barns, hunting cabins, ride beneath a flatbed, or hop a slow-moving freight. The possibilities were numerous and hard to track. The landscape complicated everything: rolling hills and a meandering river, shallow with small islands and hidden channels. Excellent cover. Wading across would wash away tracks. This terrain was both his refuge and the investigators' greatest challenge. As the manhunt stretched on, the fabric of daily life began to change. An unseen threat settled like a heavy fog. Deadbolts clicked and curtains drew at dusk. Parents kept children within sight. The fear was quiet but pervasive. A vague late-night call closed schools for 2 days. Churches held extra services for comfort and solidarity. Storefronts posted the fugitive's picture with a clear warning: if you see this man, do not approach. Call 911 immediately. Local radio broke in hourly. Social groups shared updates, warnings, and rumors. Tips flooded police, each logged and checked. Informal patrols formed. Flashlights at night, walkie-talkies, binoculars by day. Action eased helplessness, even if the search found nothing. Fear of an unknown man deemed dangerous altered the town's peaceful rhythm. 2 long weeks into the manhunt, just as the trail seemed completely cold, a new clue emerged. A long-haul truck driver called the hotline. His truck had a dash cam, and he'd driven a remote highway that morning. The clip was short, but it was the breakthrough. In the video, a man on the shoulder near a rest stop, thumb out, waving as the truck passed. The timestamp matched a gap in the timeline. The figure looked like the prisoner, a similar jacket, the same distinct, purposeful walk. They traced the truck's route south on a lesser-used state highway. He may have traveled far beyond the initial perimeter. A team searched nearby woods and found a small, hastily abandoned campsite. A lightweight tent, a dirty pot, discarded wrappers. Inside the fire pit, a matchbook. It came from a motel 60 miles away. The clerk remembered a man who paid cash, arrived with a full beard, then shaved during a 2-day stay. He used a common fake name and checked out early. The trail, once cold, was now burning hot. Armed with this powerful new lead, the investigation accelerated. Toll booth records, gas receipts, motel Wi-Fi logs. Security footage showed a clean-shaven man at a bus station buying a one-way ticket crossing 2 state lines. Specialized teams quietly redeployed for discreet surveillance at bus terminals, truck stops, and low-cost motels. A K-9 picked up a trail leading to an abandoned cargo van, partially hidden by overgrowth. Inside a false compartment, a change of clothes, maps with highlighted routes, a small stack of 20s, a shaving kit missing its razors. Clear prints on the wheel and mirror matched the fugitive, proof he had help and resources. Investigators realized they might be hunting a small network, not just one man. They set a trap at an all-night diner along the route. A man fitting the description entered a car. Officers boxed it in and ordered occupants out. The passenger, slumped and hiding his face, was the man they'd been searching for. The face matched. Thinner, exhausted. 3 weeks on the run, now back in handcuffs. No dramatic chase, no gunfire. It ended quietly in a rain-slicked parking lot. He had crossed 2 states and eluded a massive law enforcement effort, changing his appearance, using aliases, relying on a network. Several individuals were charged, linked by phone records and financial transactions. The town breathed a sigh of relief. Doors unlocked, school reopened, normalcy returning, though the memory lingered. A careful plan can be undone by small mistakes. A dashcam video, a discarded matchbook, and the patient, methodical work of many. For days, weeks, or even months, authorities searched for answers. But this case proved that sometimes the most difficult person to find is the one hiding in plain sight. If you enjoy true crime investigations, manhunt stories, and hidden truth documentaries, subscribe and turn on notifications for more videos.